Cool.
Good to me.
All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Recovery Scene. I know I say this a lot, but again, I'm really excited because we have Joseph Black on. If you don't know him, he's verified on Instagram. His single, I Hope You Miss Me, went like super viral, and people used it as a sound just constantly. He's got a new one called Mad at Me. Yes, it just came out today, so definitely check that out. Make sure you like and subscribe. So I've done the intro. Do you prefer Joe or Joseph?
Joseph.
All right. Well, Joseph, thank you so much for being here and being willing to share your story. Basically, I'm going to give you the floor and you can take it away.
All right. What's up, guys? My name is Joseph Black. I am 23 years old. As of last Thursday was my birthday. I was born and raised in Duluth, Minnesota, up north where it's nice and cold damn near all year long. You catch it snowing in May, all sorts of shit like that. I live in California now. As of last year, around this time, about a year ago, I moved. Um, so about a year ago, I moved out here when I signed my record deals. I'll get to that after I kind of give y'all a little backstory about my life. I lived with my dad and my mom till I was 6. My dad and my mom got divorced when I was 6 years old. Um, my mom moved on her own, and usually in divorces, they take half and half or whatever. My mom chose not to. She chose to start fresh because, like, I don't know, like they're just she's stubborn like that. So she decided to start fresh. And so she started pretty much dead broke. And my dad has a career, what I'm saying? So he had money, you know what I mean? Like not he wasn't rich or nothing, but he made enough money to own his own house and have a couple of vehicles and stuff like that. So I I did 50-50 custody with my parents until I was 11. Because only till I was 11, because my dad got married to a woman when I was like 8 years old. When my dad got married to this woman, I feel like I kind of lost my dad. Whenever I wanted to talk to him, he kind of put everything on her. Oh God, go talk to her, ask her, and then she kind of like played the parent role. And I did not like her. She really tore apart our family. She treated me like I was a grown person, like I was supposed to know everything. Just got angry at me all the time when I asked help for homework, like, oh, they don't teach you this shit in school, all that sort of shit. So I made it known to my dad multiple times from when I was 8 years old to 11 that, Dad, I don't like her. He thought, you're just a kid. Your mom's putting stuff in your head. You don't understand. Still to this day, I believe I'm still very mature for my age. Like that, I know it's kind of weird to say, like, might
No,
be
you
kind of,
probably had to grow up pretty quick.
yeah, yeah, definitely. So I told my dad, like, hey, like, I'm gonna go live with my mom if, like, you don't give this bitch the boot because she's ripping apart our family if you can't tell. And he just wasn't about it. He's like, I love this woman or whatever. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna live with my mom. So he pretty much chose her over me.
I was just going to ask if you felt like he chose, like you were replaced.
Yeah, I kind of felt like I was replaced, and I went and started staying with my mom. I actually moved to Florida with my mother when my dad had 100% cut, or he had 75% custody of me. I could see my mom on Wednesdays for 3 hours, and I could see her on the weekends. But one weekend, I never came back on Monday. I called and told my dad I was in Florida, and he wasn't too happy about that. He actually had the police and himself came to Florida to get me and pick me up. And they tried to get my mom with kidnapping and all sorts of shit and he put me in trauma therapy because she brainwashed me.
Mm.
This is all stems from my stepmom, essentially, because she putting things in his head. You know what I mean? I knew what I was doing. I wanted to go with my mom. I loved staying in Florida with her. So I went back to Duluth, Minnesota for like another year, and she came back, and he pretty much was like, hey, well, I got to go away for work for 6 months. You kind of have the choice to either stay here with Debbie or stay with your mother. Debbie was my stepmom's name. It's also my mother's name. So I chose to stay with my mom. My stepmom seemed very hurt about it, which was odd. She knew I didn't like her, and she wasn't even very nice to me.
It
I don't
may have
know.
been an ego thing more
Yeah,
than anything.
it
Like
was
her
an ego
ego was
thing.
hurt.
She was very narcissistic and very egotistical. So I chose to stay with my mom. So this is when I was about 11 years old now, like 10 and a half, almost 11. So I'm living with my mom and she's on welfare. My brother lives with her. My brother is about 8 years older than me. He's about 18, 19 at the time, still lives with her. Um, and then his girlfriend he met on MySpace, who he's still with for like 12 years now. They have 2 kids. Crazy relationship story.
Wow,
Anyway,
MySpace.
yes, crazy story. She moved from Florida in our house with my mom, my brother, and her, and we're all pretty much living off my mom because I'll say this because my brother knows too that he was a bum at the time. You know what I'm saying? Like he ain't gonna be mad at saying he was a bum at the time. So with his girlfriend, you know what I'm saying? My mom got so pissed, she was freaking out. They ended up getting a job. Like we were poor. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was. We were poor. I could ask for something on Christmas. I pretty much asked for one thing. I could ask for one thing that was like $300 that they'd all pitch in on. It was usually a skateboard because I skateboarded. So every year they pretty much gave me a skateboard, a new one. Um, yeah, so I grew up with my mom on welfare. Things were tough. She drank a lot. My mom was been drinking since probably she was a teenager or whatever, and she 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 fed us. You know what I'm saying? She fed us, brought me to school, picked me up from school. But still, at the end of the day, she would get really drunk. She would snake out. You know what I mean? She'd get really snaky and kind of mean.
Hmm.
She was by no means an abusive mother, but just an alcoholic, and no one likes to see their parent, do that, no matter if you're young or old. And we always told her to stop. And since my brother smoked weed, she always kind of like was like, well, you smoke weed, you're just as bad type ordeal. And we could never get her to stop drinking. Um, I ended up moving out when I was 16 years old in my mom's house with some of my friends who lived with his parents still. So I went and moved in with my friend who lived with his mom. And that's where this 1123 tat. This 1123 tat is the address of my friend who I moved in with. He lived there his whole life. That's also my brother's birthday, and that's also the birthday of one of my good homies who died in a car accident. The driver was drunk and fell asleep while he was driving, and
Oh, wow.
yeah, he
So that's
passed
a
away.
really significant number for you.
Very significant number to me. If you look at the cover art of my new single, it's like a clock. It's actually the clock. It's actually all my cover arts are based off my tattoos, and I got this tattoo right here, and there's a clock right here, and on the cover art it's set to 1123. So
Oh,
just like
very
I put
cool.
I put little Easter eggs in all my music and all my art. So yeah, I moved in with my homie, and that's kind of like I always kind of knew since I was young I wanted to be something bigger than average people. I didn't want to work a job, even though my dad had a decent life, made a decent amount of money. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to work for anybody or anything like that. And my
You
mom,
didn't want the 9 to 5.
no, I didn't want to do that. My mom always told me I can do anything I set my mind to, as long as I really set my mind to it and I have God in my life.
Right.
So I took that very literal. When I was 15, I started recording music on my friend's video camera. We set his video camera up just like on a desk, and I'd record my voice over it, and then he would take the video off and just use the audio. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And we started doing that when I was 15, and we were releasing music all the time. Um, this was in 2014, I believe. Yes, this is in 2014. So I was just making music all the time, and it was pretty bad. Like the music wasn't good, but I knew I thought it was good, but I knew someday it was all gonna work out. And honestly, I got picked on in school even before I made music, just because I was skateboarding. I went to the rich kids school. You know what I mean? I was in the rich kids school, and I got picked on. I was never the cool kid in school. People clowned me for making music. They shared my music, and they're like, "Damn, this is what you do in your free time." Like this, just clowning me. Like I kind of went like mini viral throughout my school one day because I dropped the song, and like the hockey players, like the popular kids, shared it, and like got like 300 shares, and they're all just making fun of me. But I was like, wow, like I'm getting a lot of plays. I was happy about it. I didn't care, you know.
Right.
So I kept working, and then when I was 18 years old, I had like 2 credits in high school. I was thinking to myself, I'm literally wasting my time coming to school because I know what I'm gonna do with my life.
Right.
I'm gonna be a global superstar. I'm gonna be one of the best, debatably best artists of all time. That's always been my dream, is be when people talk about their top five, you know what I mean, the favorite or top five best. I want to be in people's top fives, So it was my senior year, and I was sitting there, and I literally got up and left, and I never came back. Um, I told myself, if I drop out of high school today, I'm not gonna do nothing. I'm not just gonna go dick around and party, because like I was partying in high school and shit. But
Hmm.
I don't want to go dick around anymore. I was like, I do 7 hours a day in school doing nothing. I'm gonna go home right now. I'm gonna go to the studio, and I'm not gonna stop until I can't no more tonight. And that's exactly what I did. And every day after that, all the way until now, and I still do it. I make music every single day, like a job, like a 9 to 5. Except
Right.
I don't go 9 to 5. I go when I want, all the way until I can't, because I love it. You know what I mean? It's like a little kid playing with toys. Like, he's gonna do it till he falls asleep.
Right. That's a good analogy. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm literally just in here doing this shit as much as possible, and I've literally loved creating. Like, it's the creation process I love the most. And at first, when I started making music, it was the money, the fame, the attention, the girls, all that, like, is what sparked my young mind when I was 15. You know what I mean? But when I learned how to work the computer, buying microphones, speakers, I'm pointing because I have it all right here.
Right.
Um, and when I started doing that, and I fell in love with that, fell in love with like recording myself, and just dropping music and getting feedback. I fell in love with that. So I kept doing that. So let's see where I'm at. I'm at 18. I'm at 18 years old doing this. I think it was when I was 19 years old, I sat down, like right before I turned 20. I like sat down and I told myself, okay, I'm gonna make a perfect song today, because like my music was cool, but I kind of rushed it sometimes. I was so excited and stuff, like I didn't really like perfect it, right?
Hmm.
So I sat down one day and I was like, okay, like I'm gonna really make like a song they could play on the radio. Like, everything's gonna be perfect. And that's like, it was a total game changer. I made that song. I made 3 songs that day. The first song I made like went crazy in my hometown. Everybody was like, damn, like this kid flipped the switch. So like he went from like this turned to full 180, 360 type shit. You know what I mean? And I just kept doing. People started catching on in my hometown, quit making fun of me as much, because like, damn, like he's been doing this for like 5 years and he's getting way better every time. So people started catching traction, and I fell in love for the first time in my life. Let's see, it was like 2019. Um, it was 2018. Wow, like November of 2018. My timeline's all screwed up in my head. I'll give the drugs credit for that, but
Right.
I think it was like 2018. Um, 2018 November, like 2018. I started falling in love for the first time in my life. We had like a great relationship. I had a girlfriend prior to that. I only dated one girl prior to that when I was in high school, and it was very abusive and it was very bad. And so I was single for like 4 years after that, and I was truly scared of women. Like uh, just scared, and just figured they were all liars and narcissistic. So when I met this girl, she changed my whole perspective on everything. Um, so January of 2020 comes around, and we break up because she had slept with somebody 2 months prior, because we moved to Louisiana together. That was her hometown. right around the time my best friend Capone got locked up. If y'all see me hashtag free Capone on every single post, it's because it's one of my best friends. He believe it or not, he's 45 years old. Like I said, I'm kind of mature for my age. Like I can't hang out with people my age. Like they don't get it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? They're not on the same thing. They're not on the same shit as me. So mentally. So my homie got locked up. He was facing a lot of time. I got depressed for a couple months, and she was like 2 years younger than me, so like a little more immature than me. Like I'm just gonna be honest. At the time, I was kind of blind to it. So she had like cheated on me during that time because I wasn't treating her right and giving her enough attention and all of this stuff. I was like, I just needed you to be there for me while I was sad. She's like, but I thought it was never gonna end. It was like 2 months of me being depressed. Like, come on, like you were supposed to hold it down. And I can't lie, she held it down for me for a long time. But long story short, I found out on January 2nd. I freaked out. We broke up. I was torn up. I ended up forgiving her like 3 weeks later after having her blocked. I forgave her and I was like, like people make mistakes, you know what I mean? Like it is what it is. I've made mistakes in my life and I always wish I could have got a second chance.
Right.
So I took her back. Probably one of the biggest mistakes I made because now I suffer from this very traumatic event that happened towards the end of February of 2020. I actually walked in on her sleeping with my best friend, one of my best friends, and
Oh man.
it comes out of my mouth so simple and like to people's ears who are listening, like they're like, oh, you know what I mean? But I've never been in love before. That took over my whole body falling in love with her. And the kid she slept with was one of my friends who was helping me through the breakup initially, because
Oh my God.
he
That
was
guy.
like he was the only friend who was there. Like he was really there for me and he really cared, it seemed like. And here's the thing. When this happened, I freaked out. You know what I mean? I freaked the fuck out. Some things happened that night, some illegal things or whatever. I'm not gonna go there because I'm actually on trial and shit. Like it's all bad.
Gotcha.
But I went home and I had drugs at my house for just like a certain reason. I never was doing drugs, but I had them. If anyone's catching my drift, I picked up the drug, which I thought was just a Percocet 30, but
Hmm.
I really knew what it was. It was fentanyl. And I said, fuck it. I don't want to kill myself necessarily, but I'm gonna run myself into the ground just slowly. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna eat these pills and just pop them until I can't no more.
Right.
And then like I started sniffing them like 2 days later, and that changed my life. You know what I mean? I was like, wow, it's way better. And then like 2 weeks later, I was like so over life that I like picked up my gun, I loaded it, I put it on my temple. And this is right around the time Miss Me is blowing up. My I Hope You Miss Me song's blowing up
Hmm.
because I made it right after the first time I found out I made that in like January, dropped it on Valentine's Day, right before I walked in on her with my best friend, right?
Right.
So it started blowing up right before, like a week before I walked in on her with him, right?
Wow. And
So
it makes sense that that song blew up because, you can write music and it can be good, but when something comes from a place of such strong emotion and you're writing from the heart about your experiences, it
mhm.
it makes sense.
Yeah,
It makes
so like
sense.
I used to write from my brain too, like all them years prior, I would talk about what I was doing. Oh, I'm making money, I'm in the streets, and like I never lied in my music. I might have exaggerated a little bit, but I'll be honest, I don't lie in my music. I think that's really corny when people lie. When
Hmm.
someone who isn't from the streets talks about gang affiliations, drug use, selling drugs, and they have no idea what actually comes with that life. It's corny
Right.
as fuck to me. It really is. So
That'd
I
be like
never.
me talking about being in the streets.
Yeah, you feel me? You feel me? So
Yeah.
I never really lied. So this song's blowing up. It has like 3 million views on each site. I had like $70,000 in my pocket because of the song at the time, all by myself, like before the record labels or anything. I didn't give a fuck. I picked my gun up from the left side of my computer. I'm just looking at it right now, so it kind of reminds me.
Mm-hmm.
And I just put it on my temple. I took the safety off, like I always had one in the chamber already. And I sat there and I really thought, like, do I want to be alive anymore? And I was like, well, no. And I was like, well, do I have reasons to be alive? I was like, well, the only really reason is like you got a homie locked up in prison and like your song's blowing up, so you might have a chance. But I didn't really care. But I was like, well, maybe some clout will cheer me up. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I picked up my phone and I was like, I'm gonna check my DMs. Maybe I got some sexy ass girls in there. So I'm like, let's see what's happening.
Right.
Let's see
Something to make me feel better.
Yeah, right.
You're pointing a gun to your head and you were still using, right?
Yes.
So that's messing with your thinking as well.
Yep. And I wasn't using every single day, but it was 3 to 4 times a week. You know what I mean? I wasn't necessarily getting sick yet when I wasn't high.
Right.
It really wasn't quite to that point because it was so like choppy when I was using some days, stuff. Other days not. Anyway, I picked up my phone after I was like, what's gonna cheer me up? If nothing cheers me up, I'm gonna fucking do it.
Right.
Excuse me. I picked up my cell phone. I got a message from someone named Sean Pace. Sean Pace is like best friends with someone named Austin Rosen, who is Post Malone's manager. But this dude's I got to burp again. This dude's Instagram's profile picture is Seth Rogen, and he has like 1,000 followers, private account. He messages me and says, can I help blow your song up on TikTok more? Also, I want to introduce you to Post Malone's manager. And because of my song blowing up and COVID, scams on the internet were at an all-time fucking high.
Right.
So I'm like kind of shrugging my shoulders because I have like 50 people named Sean in my DM. So I'm figuring all these people are mocking someone named Sean. So I'm like, FaceTime me. This dude FaceTimes me not only with himself, but 2 other people. It was Ray Daniels and Charles Walk. And I don't know if anyone on here is watching knows anything about the music industry. These are big ass people in the industry.
Right.
And I didn't know who they are, but they told me. So like, I'm on FaceTime and like I'm Googling here on my computer and I'm like, oh fuck. I was like, these are the people.
It's legit.
These are the people. And like they're showing me their plaques in their houses. Like, oh, here's the diamond ring on the plaque we helped her get. And I was like, Jesus, wow, I'm happy I answered this phone. And so 2 weeks later, I signed to Electric Field Management, and they managed Post Malone, 24K Golden, Ian Dior, some producers from Internet Money. I don't know, there's some producers and stuff. Probably the best management in the game.
Wow.
And I also have, and by 2 weeks later, I have DMs from record labels. Like I'm talking Interscope, Capitol Records, Republic Records, Def Jam, like all of them. I had all.
So I'm assuming this worked to cheer you up.
Yes. But at the same time, I'm still happy and stuff. I'm not even thinking about it. I'm still sniffing pills.
Mm-hmm.
I wake up and I'm like, yeah, bro, shit's going good for me. It's like, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
I will, it just kind of like turned into a habit at that point. And then, 2 weeks, I signed the management deal. I end up signing with Capitol Records. And then I'm like, fuck, I gotta quit doing the drugs because like I noticed I haven't been making music and my voice got really like raspy.
Mm-hmm.
Like this.
Yep.
So I was like,
especially when you're sniffing, it affects your vocal cords and everything.
yes, it does. So I was
Don't ask me how I know.
Yeah. Oh boy. So I was like, all right, it's time to quit. And because of my job prior, I kind of understood that people got sick. I'm walking out thin ice talking about this. I understood that people got sick, but I didn't know like how it was. So I used to watch my people or whatever get sick, and I'll be like, oh, whatever. Yeah, they're just trying to rush. You know what I'm saying? They're just trying to rush me or whatever. I tried to quit, and I didn't get so fucking sick. I couldn't sleep, so restless, and I was just cranky as fuck for 2 days straight. And then, like just out of boredom, I went and got a pill, and it made me feel so much better. And I was like, I remember like looking in the mirror, and I was like, I need to turn this light down a little bit. I remember looking in the mirror, and I was like, wow, like I think this is what addiction is.
Right,
This is
right.
full blown addiction. I didn't even realize like it happened. It snuck up on me so fast.
Yes, that's a good way to put it because that's what it does. We don't have a problem. We don't have a problem. We don't have a problem. Oh shit. I mean, that's how it works.
Crazy. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna try again. So the next 2 days, like I tried to push through it. Day three came around, and day three was like worse. And I was like, wow, I might just have to do these for the rest of my life, or
Right.
whatever. Because like the
Because the
raspy.
withdrawals don't even peak until 72 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
So
rough.
it's fucking crazy.
Don't
So
ask me how I know.
look. I was watching your TikToks and stuff. I see your hashtags. I see your
Right.
hashtags. There's a reason we're here right now.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. So I was like, damn, I might just have to do this the rest of my life, or whatever. My friends like notice it because I start getting real fucked up. Like, cause I I was so high, I got back with the girl after she slept with my best friend. And I
Oh,
got
Lord have mercy, Joseph.
it's very embarrassing, and like I'm just gonna be really vulnerable because that's me as an artist. That's me as a person. Like I said, I
Hmm.
don't like to lie. I don't like to lie, no matter how embarrassing it is. I want to inspire other people through my story, and no matter how hood you are, or what street you came from, or what drug you sold, or how much money you made, or blood, crip, GDK. I don't care like what you are. Like you have emotions.
Right.
You have emotions, and you get embarrassed sometimes. So and you make mistakes and shit. So I get back with this girl because my high ass forgave her, and I started feeling lonely. And my friends fucking hate her, they're like, and they start realizing like, damn, like Joe's fucked up, you know what I mean?
Right.
They're like pull me to the side once in a while, like, hey bro, you really gotta quit. And I'm like, yeah, I got you. And they're like, no. Like one day I was like, yeah, I got you. And I tried to like change the subject. They're like, I was sitting there like, no, we came here to talk about strictly this. We didn't come to hang out. And I was like, all right. And I was like, all right, like, yeah, I got you. That, but little did they know I got sick and shit. So I just started hiding it from them. But I did a good job of hiding it. I can't lie. We ended up all moving as a group of friends to Los Angeles because I signed my record deals, and this is where the industry is Los Angeles. Um, we move out to LA, and I'm on probation at the time, so I had to go back and forth to Minnesota for a little while, and then I I overdosed once in LA,
Mm.
and my best friend, not the by the way, the friend who had sex with my girl got cut off that day. I haven't talked to him since.
Right.
So when I talk about my best friends, these are like my day ones, the ones I moved in with right here, the ones who came to LA with me. I overdosed one day. I flatlined for 30 seconds. This is my second overdose, by the way. I flatlined for 30 seconds, like in his arms. And then like I come back to the house, and like my girl like is a piece of shit. She was down at the pool making TikToks. She was mad at me that I overdosed. Wouldn't talk to me for like 3 days. She was down at the pool making TikToks. My friends were like, she's gotta go, bro.
Wow.
Um,
Yeah.
and then they told me one more perk. We call them perks. Like
Right.
they're little blue pills. You know what I mean? They just call them perks. They're like one more perk and we're gone. You know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, for sure. And like I tried, but like I just couldn't. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't even sick at this point anymore. Like that when I overdosed, that was a relapse because I was 11 days sober, not because I wanted to, but because when we all moved to LA, we drove U-Hauls, like 4 cars pulling U-Hauls, and we stopped in every state. Little did they know I was dope sick the whole fucking time.
Right.
So it took us 7 days to get to LA.
Oh
And
God.
by the time we got there, I didn't know where to get drugs or anything. So I slept for like 4 days or tried to sleep. And then by then, like I was kind of fine. Like I shook it off. Like I was getting up and I was going to the store. I was fine, you know what I mean, for the most part. And I ended up like just asking some random dude on the side of the street who looked like he might know some.
Right?
Yeah, and he
Isn't it
got me
funny how
some.
we can find our own people? Isn't that weird?
It's disgusting.
It's like radar. It's like this terrible radar.
Mm-hmm. So sure enough, I got him to get me some. And I remember smelling the bag of pills. Like the reason I smelled the bag of pills is because I was like, damn, like this shit smells like cocaine from the outside. Like it smells like gasoline. All I remember is just kind of like sniffing the pill and just waking up fucking numb as fuck. My whole body's like tingling, like when your legs fall asleep. My whole body was like tingling. And yeah, so I went back to the house or whatever. So yeah, that was the relapse when I overdosed. They told me one more, you're done. I was like, damn, I tried for like a day, found a plug out there. He was inconsistent. So I had some people from Minnesota where I used to get them from mailing them to me. Think I signed a record deal. I have money. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm ordering drugs, bam, bam, bam. I'm guilty about it. So I'm buying them, flushing them, buying them, flushing them, this fucking running through my money. There came a time when someone from my management was like, hey, I want you to come to Miami to my house and make music for a week. And like Post Malone be coming there, Lil Baby be coming there, all the big artists be coming through his house just to hang out, just to make music. You know what I'm saying? On rich people hanging out with rich people, druggies hang out with druggies, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Rappers hang out with rappers. So it's like this was the place to be. And I was so excited, but all I could think was, how do I get drugs in Miami? How do I hide the fact I'm getting high? What if I get caught? What if I get sick? What if I suck at making music while I'm out there? And then I'm like, I haven't even been making music. I'm not like warmed up. Like I'm kind of rusty. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Isn't that's the craziness of addiction? Like I have this huge opportunity. I totally don't want to blow it, but I'm not going to not use. I'm just going to try and figure out how to use and not look like I'm using and not blow it. It's insane. It's insane.
not a fan, not a fan. So what happened was I was like, I need to go to rehab. I was like, I'm not gonna go embarrass myself in front of the people I've looked up to my whole life. Not a fucking chance. So I went, told my managers, hey guys, like we have a busy week ahead of us. I'm supposed to do a photo shoot, a video shoot. We're supposed to do record this song with this person. So and so from the management wants me to go to Miami for a week. I'm on drugs and I get sick as fuck when I don't have it. So we have two options. I don't know how you guys work. I was like, either you guys gotta like help me out with drugs, because I'm broke too, by the way. I spent all the money that the label gave me. I was like, told my management this, and I was like, spent all the money the label gave me. So I either need drugs to finish out this week till I get paid again, or I need to go to rehab. And to be honest with you guys, I would rather go to rehab because this is not who I wanted to be. So that's when I checked into rehab, you know, like I don't know how long ago it is now, like it was in November 18th is the day I went to detox. So I went to detox on November 18th. Oh yeah, by the way, they helped that I skipped over that. They're like, yeah, no, like we know someone. I don't know if you know Scott Storch is. Scott Storch is a famous producer, piano player. Him and like Steve Lobel got on FaceTime with me the next day. And we're like, hey man, we own a treatment center called THC, the Heavenly Center.
Oh, wow. That's very cool.
Scott Storch used to struggle with cocaine addiction and blew $100 million. She has a crazy story. And then he smoked weed and it helped him heal. Like that's what he did. And now he's been sober for like 5 years. He just smokes weed, you know what I mean? And to each his own in sobriety, but he's like, we're going a different route. Like,
right.
Like we
right. That falls under harm reduction. Like to the people who are watching on live or the people who are, going to be watching this episode, we support there are so many paths to recovery, and that's harm reduction. You go from abusing cocaine or heroin and you reduce down to smoking pot, and that helps a lot of people. Medically assisted treatment, and it's not like when you start, you're doing it without supervision.
Yeah,
because clearly the man started a rehab.
Of course.
Yeah, we've come a long way since the 1930s.
Yeah, and I've been smoking weed my whole life, and throughout my addiction, I quit smoking weed because I'd get high and I'd be like, "Damn, Joseph, you're a junkie," and I'd flush my pills and I'd be like, I'd check myself. I'd be like, "Damn, bro, like you're losing your friends, like you're gonna lose your record deals." Like, so I was like I got scared of smoking weed because I was like so real with myself.
Right.
So when I got on FaceTime with them, they're like, "Yeah, you can come here. It's a 9-week program. This is how it works. Blah blah blah. You got to go detox first, so you're not coming here sick." And I was like, "Okay." So I went to detox. Um, I went to detox, and then I went detox helped a lot. I did detox slash residential for 11 days. Then I went to the Heavenly Center, and I was still broke at this time. So I was doing the Heavenly Center, and it was amazing. Like rehab was amazing. It changed my life. It really did. I learned a lot about myself. I dug really deep in my trauma. I brought things to the surface that I've never brought to the surface before. All that stuff, and I was ended up being sober for like 100 days. It was like 95 days or something, and then I relapsed, and I went to detox for like 3 days, and like I was like, man, like I'm not going back, like because when I relapsed, I bawled my eyes out the whole time I was high. Like I was like,
Right.
this is such a bad mistake. And then I went to detox for 3 days, and I was like, okay, I'm good. Like I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna go back up there and I'm gonna be fine. So I checked out a detox or whatever. I did AMA. Like I didn't have a there was there I don't have like I don't have anybody like they called like, hey, can he leave? Like it was all up to me. Like
Mm-hmm.
I told myself I wanted to go, like all that shit. So I was like, I think it's time for me to leave. Like I'm gonna give myself another shot. And they're like, we don't necessarily recommend that, but like since like you're a grown ass man, like it's your choice, you know, go good luck, you know what I'm saying? Go for it. Like we believe in you, blah blah blah. So I went, and then I relapsed my first fucking day out, and I was just kind of like on and off, right? I wasn't necessarily doing the best. One of my good friends from treatment was trying to get me to go back, and I was like, man, I don't want to go back. Um, I missed the part that when I was in treatment the first time I signed another deal when I was like 50. Okay, so I missed the very important part. On my 26th day sober, I broke up with the girl finally.
Oh,
I got sober, and so much embarrassment and trauma just sunk over my whole entire body. I was, wow, I stayed with her through all of that. I was so fucking embarrassed with myself for the people from the people who knew, like, wow. Like she did more than what I told you. Like there was
mm-hmm.
way more. Just things I ended up finding out. But me walking in on that should have been enough, right? But then so much more happened, and I kept forgiving her because I was high off fentanyl. Um, so I broke up with her on my 26th day sober. I ended up signing a publishing deal like 2 weeks later, and that's like the biggest deal in my life. I finally get some money again. Um, finish rehab, relapse, go to detox. Bam, I'm back at my home, and then I'm just kind of like getting high again. And then my good friend from rehab was like, "Hey man, let's at least like get you on Suboxone," you know. So I was like, "Okay." So I started doing Suboxone. I was on that for like a week and a half, and then one day the Suboxone just like wasn't really working. I felt like, and like I was just eating a bunch of it. I that day I tried to eat as much as I could because I just wasn't. I was sick. I felt like I was sick.
Right.
And I saw what might have been some like fentanyl dust on my table from like the weeks prior, and like it was like just such a small amount. I'm like I did it and I had precipitated withdrawals. If the people watching don't know what precipitated withdrawal is, there's something in Suboxone called naloxone that blocks your opioid receptors and makes it so if you put any opioid in your body while you have that naloxone in you, you get the worst withdrawal possible. Like this is like the worst withdrawal, like almost instantly. I'm saying 30 seconds after I put that shit on my lip, that little piece of dust, the littlest piece of dust, I was fucked up sick for like 2 hours.
Oh,
Worst
wow.
2 hours of my life. That's when I was like, I'm not doing well. I'm gonna go back. You know what I
Right.
mean? I'm really busy right now. Like my career is crazy. My labels are busting their ass for me. And this was like 2 weeks ago this happened. Um so I reached out and I was like, hey guys, I want to go back. You know what I mean? Like, but I don't want to go live there again. You know what I mean? And they extended the length of their program. And so it's like, it's way longer now and all this. So I was like, how about this? I was like, we came up with the plan. I'm going to go do 30 days residential where they take my phone away, you know, and I'm just locked in or whatever. I'm going to do 30 days residential. And then I'm going to go back to the Heavenly Center and I'm going to live at home and I'm just going to do groups there. I'm going to do groups there 3 or 4 days a week. I'm not really sure yet, for a couple hours a day, you know, 3, 4 hours a day. And just so I can still work, you know, I have a job. Like, you know, who knows when I might have to get up, go and perform. And my studio's in my house. So it's like, we came up with that plan, and starting Sunday, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back and I'm going to start fresh. And I think this time I know what's different. There were certain things I didn't want to talk about my first time in rehab. And I think subconsciously, my first time, I was like, I'm going to try it one more time when I get out just to see how it feels, you know, just so I can have that first high feeling again. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
And
Like maybe I can control it now,
yeah,
you
so
know.
that's what's different this time. I'm gonna dig really deep this time. Like I'm not gonna hold anything back and all that. I was I didn't want to talk about the situation with my girl my first time in detox or my first time in rehab because I was still with her and I was denying the fact that I fucking hated her. And
Right.
I have hate in my heart and I'm with a girl who I hate. So with that being said, my new single that just came out is called Mad at Me. I made that during my active addiction, like probably 4 weeks into my addiction. And I call it bipolar love because I'm sad, happy is one of the lyrics. And that's really it. Like it was bipolar love. I was so sad and happy at the same time because like I wasn't alone because I had her and she treated me well. But behind closed doors, she was doing some snake shit that I kept finding out about and forgiving her because at least
Right.
I don't know, drugs,
It's
you know,
like
drugs.
sometimes we'd rather be, it's like a drug. It's
Mm-hmm,
an addiction. Being
mm-hmm,
addicted to a person is a thing. And it's like we'd rather be with somebody for the wrong reasons than be alone for the right reasons.
mm-hmm.
You know, that's what we do. But, you know, so you're going back to rehab on Sunday.
Yep.
And you know, this next sentence might sound just cheesy as hell, but as a fellow person in recovery who's battled addiction and as a mom, you know, 44-year-old, I could be your mother. I'm really proud of you. I'm really, really proud of you just for keeping in the fight and not giving up. And it's you saying, nobody's forcing you. You're not being sent there by a judge. You know, you don't have family that's in your face making you go. It's you, Joseph. It's you going, I need to do this. And that's powerful. You're going to get it. You're going to do it because you want it. It's very clear that you want it.
I do want it. My whole life I've been so strong minded. I've overcame all the traumatic obstacles. Like I told you on my life story, but I didn't really dive into everything. We'd be here for fucking 1,300 hours, you know?
Right?
Um
Until you had to leave for rehab, then we'd have
yeah,
to
yeah,
stop.
yeah. So like I've been a strong person my whole life and like weed was my thing. Weed kind of was my crutch, but I you know, there was days where I didn't smoke weed. There was weeks sometimes I didn't smoke weed. So it wasn't like I was like it was like a crazy crutch, you know, because like anything can be an addiction. Like if you're gonna have an addiction, weed's probably the best. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna say that. But
Right.
I do know people in my life who shouldn't smoke weed. Like this lazy fucks who are broke as shit and won't get out of their fucking couch. You know what I mean? So
Right. But I
it's
mean,
not.
the worst the worst thing that they're worried about is watching too much TV, getting fat and being broke. So at least they're not out like robbing people or, you know,
Or
dying.
worrying about overdosing or losing their
Right.
fucking friends and family and all that stuff. So
Exactly.
yeah, so yeah, no, I'm really excited to go back. I got a career. The music industry pretty much passed me a ball. They passed me the ball. I just gotta dunk the fucking ball. That's
Yeah.
it. That's it. So I'm ready to dunk the ball. I'm not ready to fuck this shit up. I got a lot of things going for me. Even if I didn't, I don't want to be a junkie. Like I said,
Right.
I used to serve junkies. Like I want to be honest, I used to serve the junkies. Like I
Right.
was that guy, and I didn't like them. You know, like I just got rich off them, like in the streets, like that. That was my thing. So, and I know what it's like to be spiritually empty and emotionally empty, and I hit rock bottom before I signed my deals, and it brought me up, and I don't want to go to rock bottom ever again. So
Yeah.
I'm catching myself before it turns into that, and
Exactly.
I'm
Well, I
excited.
think you're going to do it. I am. I'm really proud of you, and I think you're going to do it. I'm behind you. You have, and I know you have people behind you, and you know, or I'm wishing you all the best for rehab, and I definitely want you back again.
Yes, as soon as
So,
I get back, let's do it.
yes, yes, and we'll check in and see how things are going, and
Hmm.
hopefully how's okay, so real quick, Mad at Me dropped today.
Yep, it dropped that. Yeah, it dropped today slash yesterday at 9 p.m. PST Pacific time or whatever. So
How's it been
midnight.
doing so far?
It's doing good. So actually, my label dropped the clean version on accident. I didn't even swear in the song. They accidentally dropped the clean version. They took out the words "eat it" and the words "drugs." I have no idea why. It's been a rough day. It's been a rough day, but they re-uploaded it, and now it's normal again. But but yeah, man, it's uploaded today. My new single, "Mad at Me," the music video's out. It's out on all streaming platforms. I'm getting really good feedback. Some people are saying it's better than the "I Hope You Miss Me" song. I personally agree. They both come from my heart. All my music's coming from my heart. I'm talking about real stuff. I'd say that "Mad at Me" is more of a bop than "Miss Me" is, but
Uh-huh.
I'm still vulnerable. I'm still talking about that shit, but it's got more of a ride feeling to it. Like this is a song you can kind of vibe. It's a pregame before you go out with your friends. You can vibe to this. Like "Miss," "I Hope You Miss Me" is more of a get in your feelings song. This is more of
Right.
a damn, he's saying some real shit, but this has got a bop to it. You know what I mean? So I like it a lot. Joseph Black, "Mad at Me." You can type it in. You can look it up on any site. My Instagram handle is at Joseph Black. That's me. You can find me anywhere. Yeah, I'm super excited about this song. I hope everybody likes it as much as I do. I appreciate everyone making TikToks and all that stuff. So it's gonna be a good year. I know that as long as I'm sober, everything's gonna work out. And for anybody watching this, if you're struggling with addiction, no matter if nobody knows, you can hide it from everybody. God is watching you. If you don't believe in God, if you believe in science, the law of attraction, the universe knows you're getting high, and you're gonna block your blessings because nobody knew I was getting high, but I saw something. One day I ignored a craving, and I got a very good text from someone from the label. And then when I'm getting high, I notice nothing good's happening. My homie's case in prison isn't looking too good. My mom's not doing good. But when I'm sober, things are going well all around me. Even if nobody knows, you know what I mean? God knows. God's watching you. If nobody knows, God's watching you. It's just the